Midnight whisper. The night pressed down like a weight on Daniel's chest. He sat by the window, staring at the pale glow of the moon, his heart aching with a loneliness that seemed endless. Somewhere in the distance, a train horn echoed, fading into the silence. He had lost too much: his wife, his sense of purpose, and the belief that kindness could still change the world. Yet, in that silence, he heard it, a whisper. Soft, fragile, but filled with warmth. It wasn't a ghostly sound, but something deeper, something human. Daniel lived in a small town in the Midwest, where neighbors waved but rarely stopped to ask how you were. He had once been a teacher, the kind who stayed late to help struggling students, who believed every child deserved a chance. But after his wife's passing, he left the classroom, retreating into solitude. His days blurred together, and his nights were haunted by memories. The whisper came again. Don't give up. He froze, his breath caught in his throat. It wasn't his imagination. It was real. He searched the room, but there was no one there. Only the candle flickering on his desk, casting shadows that danced like old memories. The next morning, Daniel walked into town. He hadn't been there in weeks. At the corner cafe, he saw a young woman struggling with 2 children, her hands full of grocery bags. Without thinking, he rushed forward, taking the bags from her. She looked at him, surprised, and smiled. Thank you. I don't know how I would have managed. That smile stayed with him. It was the first time in months he felt alive. Over the next few days, Daniel began noticing things he had ignored before: the old man sitting alone on the park bench, the teenager working double shifts at the diner, the single mother juggling 2 jobs. He realized the whisper wasn't just a sound, it was a call. A call to remember the power of humanity, the strength of kindness. He started small. He bought coffee for strangers. He repaired a neighbor's broken fence. He tutored kids at the library who couldn't afford extra help. Each act was simple, but it carried weight. People began to notice. They started smiling more, talking more, helping each other. But kindness is not without trials. One evening, Daniel found himself walking home when he saw a group of teenagers mocking a homeless man outside the store. His heart pounded. He could walk away, pretend he hadn't seen it. But the whisper returned, don't give up. He stepped forward. Hey, stop that. His voice was firm, but not angry. The teens laughed, but Daniel didn't back down. He knelt beside the man, offering him the sandwich he had just bought. The man's eyes filled with tears. No one's looked at me like a human in months, he said. That moment changed Daniel. He realized kindness wasn't just about small gestures, it was about courage. The courage to stand up, to see people when the world ignored them. Word spread through town. People began calling him the Midnight Whisper, a man who reminded them of the humanity they had forgotten. He didn't seek recognition, but he became a symbol. The emotional climax came one winter night. A storm had knocked out power across the town. Families were cold, frightened, and disconnected. Daniel gathered candles, blankets, and food, and went door to door. He organized neighbors to check on the elderly, to share supplies, to sit together in living rooms lit by candlelight. In that darkness, something extraordinary happened. People who had lived side by side for years but barely spoken began to talk, laugh, and share stories. The storm became a blessing, a reminder that humanity thrives when people come together. Daniel sat quietly, watching children play by candlelight, listening to neighbors sing old songs. His heart swelled. The whisper came once more, softer than ever, you've done it. Tears rolled down his cheeks. He realized the whisper had never been from outside, it had always been within him. It was his wife's memory, his own conscience, the voice of humanity reminding him that kindness is the only legacy worth leaving. When the lights returned, the town was different. People didn't retreat into silence. They carried the warmth forward. They checked on each other, helped each other, and remembered that humanity is strongest when it is shared. Daniel never returned to teaching in the classroom, but he became a teacher in life. His story spread beyond the town, reaching hearts across the country. People began calling him Midnight Whisper, a symbol of selflessness, a reminder that even in the darkest hours, kindness can light the way. And so, The man who once sat alone in silence became the voice of hope. His story resonated far beyond his small town, touching lives across America, reminding everyone that humanity is not measured by wealth or power, but by the simple act of caring for one another. Because sometimes, all it takes is a whisper at midnight to awaken the world to the power of kindness.